Tonight, we're heading high into the mountains, where snow falls softly outside a small cafe glowing with warm light. Inside, a fire crackles in the hearth, coffee fills the air with its comforting aroma, and 3 cozy stories are waiting by the window. So settle in, get comfortable, and let's spend the evening somewhere warm. Hello, this is Sleep Chapters. Thank you for choosing to spend part of your evening here with me. Before we begin, if you're enjoying these stories, I'd love to invite you to subscribe, give this video a like, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new chapter. Now, make yourself comfortable and let's begin. Take a slow breath in and gently let it go. Again. Breathing in and breathing out. Allow your shoulders to soften, allow your jaw to relax, and let your body become a little heavier. There is nowhere you need to be right now, nothing you need to finish, nothing you need to remember. This time belongs only to you. Now imagine a mountain road at night. Snow is falling quietly from a dark blue sky. Large, soft snowflakes drift slowly through the air. The world feels wonderfully still. Ahead of you, you notice something warm, a light, then another and another. At the end of the road sits a small cafe. Its windows glow softly against the snow. Golden light spills onto the ground outside. A thin line of smoke rises from the chimney. You walk toward it. Snow crunches softly beneath your boots. The air is cold and fresh. Then you reach the door. You open it. A small bell rings gently. Warmth immediately surrounds you. You smell coffee, fresh bread, a hint of cinnamon, and the comforting scent of burning wood. A fire crackles inside a large stone fireplace. A few lamps glow softly around the room. Books rest upon shelves. Blankets are folded neatly beside comfortable chairs. Beyond the windows, snow continues falling. But in here, everything feels warm, safe, unhurried, as though the cafe has been waiting for you all evening. You find a comfortable chair beside the fire. A soft blanket rests across your lap. Someone places a warm drink in your hands. You wrap your fingers around the mug. Its warmth feels wonderful. You take a slow breath and another. The fire crackles softly. The snow continues to fall, and little by little you begin to feel completely at home. Tonight there is nothing else you need to do. Only listen, only rest, and spend a cozy evening in this little mountain cafe. Now, the last table by the fire. You settle deeper into the comfortable chair. The blanket rests warmly across your lap. The mug in your hands is pleasantly warm, and beside you, the fire crackles softly. For a few moments you simply sit there, listening. The fire, the distant wind outside, the occasional sound of snow sliding gently from the roof. The cafe feels wonderfully calm. There are only a few people inside. A couple sits near the window, quietly sharing a pot of tea. Someone farther away turns the page of a book, and behind the counter the owner dries a few cups and places them neatly on a shelf. No one seems to be in a hurry. The clocks on the walls seem slower here. Even the fire appears to burn lazily. You take a small sip from your drink. It tastes of chocolate and cinnamon. Immediately you feel warmer, a little more comfortable, a little sleepier. You look toward the fireplace. Beside it sits a small wooden table. It is round, simple, and positioned perfectly near the fire. The owner notices you looking at it. She smiles. Then she walks over carrying a small lamp. She places it on the table. The soft golden light glows warmly. Then she looks at you. "I think that's the best seat in the cafe." Her voice is gentle. You smile. She looks toward the fire. "I call it the last table by the fire." She says the name as though she has said it many times before. You ask her why. She smiles again. Then she takes the chair across from you. Outside, the snow continues falling. Inside, the fire crackles softly. She folds her hands together. "Because somehow," she says, "someone always ends up sitting there." She points toward the table. "Every winter." You look at it again, the small lamp, the comfortable chair, the fire beside it. It certainly does look inviting. "Years ago," she says, "an old teacher used to sit there. Every evening, he would order coffee. Then he would open a book. Sometimes he would read. Sometimes he would simply stare into the fire. Sometimes he would fall asleep." She laughs softly. He never seemed embarrassed about it. You smile. She continues. "Then one winter, he stopped coming." She says it kindly, without sadness, as people do sometimes. The fire pops softly. She looks at the empty chair. A few weeks later, a young traveler sat there. He stayed for hours. He watched the snow. He wrote in a notebook. He drank 3 cups of coffee. She smiles. And before leaving, he said it was the coziest evening of his entire trip. Outside, snowflakes drift slowly past the windows. The fire continues crackling. The owner looks around the room. After him came an artist, then a nurse, then a man who worked on trains. She smiles again. And every single one of them said the same thing. "You wait." She glances toward the fire. They all said they felt at home. For a few moments, neither of you says anything. You simply listen. The fire, the wind, the soft clink of a cup somewhere behind you. The owner eventually stands. She straightens one of the chairs nearby. Then she looks at you again. Maybe it's the warmth. She shrugs. Maybe it's the fire. Maybe it's because snow makes people slow down. She smiles. Or maybe it's simply because everyone needs one quiet place in the world. She leaves you to your drink. You remain there, looking at the table, looking at the fire. The idea feels nice. One quiet place, somewhere warm, somewhere with soft light, somewhere that asks absolutely nothing of you. You take another sip. The chocolate is still warm. The cinnamon is comforting. You pull the blanket a little closer. The fire glows softly beside you. The chair is comfortable. The cafe is quiet. Outside, the snow falls steadily. Inside, everything feels wonderfully safe. You realize you haven't thought about tomorrow in quite some time. You haven't checked the time. You haven't wondered what comes next. For now, there is only this, the warmth of the mug, the gentle fire, the falling snow, and this little table beside the hearth. Perhaps the owner is right. Perhaps everyone does need one quiet place in the world, a place where they can simply sit, listen, breathe, and rest. The fire crackles again. A log settles softly. Golden light dances along the wooden walls. Outside, the snow continues falling over the sleeping mountain. And little by little, you begin to understand why everyone who sits at the last table by the fire says exactly the same thing. It feels like home. Now, the baker who always arrives with the snow. You sit quietly for a while longer. The warmth of the fire reaches your hands. Outside, snow continues falling without hurry. Large snowflakes drift gently past the windows, settling softly on the rooftops of the little mountain village. Inside, the cafe feels even quieter now. The room is filled with the comforting sounds of crackling firewood, the gentle clink of porcelain cups, and the soft murmur of distant conversation. Then, The little bell above the front door rings once again. You look toward the entrance. A man steps inside, brushing fresh snow from his wool coat. His boots leave a few small footprints that quickly begin to melt on the wooden floor. The owner smiles as soon as she sees him. "Right on time," she says warmly. The man smiles back. "I followed the snow." He hangs his scarf beside the door before walking toward the fireplace. He doesn't even need to order. The owner is already preparing his favorite drink. A large mug of dark coffee, and beside it, a warm cinnamon roll, still fresh from the oven. She places everything on the table without saying a word. He simply smiles. It seems this has been their little tradition for many winters. The owner notices your curiosity. "He comes every time it snows," she says softly. "Not every week, not every month. Only when the mountains disappear beneath fresh snow." You glance outside. The mountains have almost vanished behind the gentle white curtain. The baker wraps both hands around his mug. For a moment, he closes his eyes, as though enjoying the warmth before taking the first sip. Finally, he smiles. "I think coffee tastes better when it's snowing." The owner laughs quietly. "You always say that, and I still believe it's true." He takes another slow sip, then looks toward the window. "When I was a boy," he begins, "my father owned the bakery in the next village. We started working long before sunrise, while everyone else was asleep. I used to think the whole world belonged only to us." He smiles gently at the memory. The streets were empty. The snow was untouched, and every chimney carried a little ribbon of smoke into the morning sky. You can almost picture it, a sleepy mountain village, fresh bread baking before dawn, golden light glowing behind frosted windows. The baker continues, "My favorite part wasn't making the bread. It was the moment we finished. We would sit together, just for a few minutes. We'd pour 2 cups of coffee and watch the snow. No talking, no rushing, just watching." The cafe grows wonderfully quiet. Even the fire seems softer now. The owner places another log into the fireplace. Tiny sparks rise for a moment before disappearing up the chimney. The room becomes just a little warmer. The smell of fresh bread fills the air once again. Someone nearby orders hot chocolate. Another guest quietly turns another page in a book. The baker smiles. "I still bake before sunrise. I still enjoy the smell of fresh bread." But now, he looks around the room. "I always end my snowy mornings here." The owner nods. "I think cafes and bakeries have something in common." You look at her. She smiles. "They're both made to slow people down." The baker chuckles. "And to remind us that simple things are often the best." He tears off a small piece of his cinnamon roll. Steam rises gently from the soft bread. Outside, snow continues covering the rooftops. Inside, everything feels wrapped in warmth. You notice how no one in the cafe is looking at a clock. No one seems eager to leave. Everyone has found their own quiet corner, their own warm drink, their own peaceful moment. The baker finishes the last sip of his coffee. He thanks the owner, puts on his scarf, pulls on his gloves. And before opening the door, he turns back with a smile. "See you next snowfall." The owner smiles. "I'll have the coffee ready." The little bell rings once more as he steps outside. Cold winter air slips briefly into the cafe before the door closes again. The room becomes warm once more. You watch through the window as he walks slowly into the softly falling snow. Before long, his footprints begin to disappear beneath fresh white flakes, as though the mountain is gently tucking them away. You hold your warm mug a little closer. The fire continues to glow. The smell of coffee and cinnamon lingers in the air. Outside, winter quietly carries on. Inside, the cafe feels exactly as it should, warm, peaceful, and wonderfully cozy. Now, the woman by the window. For a little while, the cafe becomes wonderfully quiet again. The fire crackles softly beside you. The warm light from the lamps dances gently across the wooden walls. Outside, the snowfall hasn't stopped. If anything, it has become even softer. The village is almost completely covered in white now. Only the warm glow from a few windows reminds you that people are still awake. You take another slow sip of your drink. It has cooled just enough, still warm, still comforting. The owner quietly wipes the counter. She hums a tune you've never heard before. It is slow, gentle, the kind of melody that seems perfectly at home on a snowy evening. Just then, the little bell above the door rings once again. A woman steps inside. She removes her gloves, then her scarf. Tiny snowflakes melt from her coat as she closes the door behind her. The owner smiles immediately. You found your way through the snow. The woman smiles back. I wouldn't miss it. She doesn't even glance around the room. Instead, she walks directly toward the same chair beside the window, the same chair she has apparently chosen many times before. The owner begins preparing her usual order, a large latte, a slice of warm apple pie, and a thick wool blanket folded neatly across the back of the chair. You notice they barely speak. They don't need to. Some friendships become comfortable enough to live inside silence. The woman wraps both hands around the warm cup. She closes her eyes for just a moment. Then she takes her first sip. A peaceful smile appears almost instantly. The owner notices you watching. She comes every winter, always when the first heavy snow arrives. You glance toward the window. Outside, snowflakes drift lazily beneath the old street lanterns. She says this is her favorite evening of the year. The owner smiles. I think she's right. The woman opens a small leather notebook. Its pages are worn, its corners slightly bent. She uncaps a fountain pen, then begins writing slowly. Not quickly, not trying to finish, just one sentence at a time. After a few minutes, she pauses. She looks out at the snow. She smiles softly, then writes another line. You wonder what she's writing? The owner quietly answers the question before you even ask. Postcards. You look surprised. She writes one every winter, but she never sends them. You glance back toward the notebook. The woman carefully finishes another sentence. Why not? The owner smiles. She says writing them is enough. Some memories don't need an address. The thought settles gently in your mind. Some memories don't need an address. Some moments don't need to become anything more. Sometimes it's enough simply to experience them. To sit by a warm fire, to hold a cup of coffee, to watch snow fall beyond the window. The woman closes her notebook. She doesn't seem rushed. She simply watches the snow for a while longer. The fire glows warmly beside her. The cafe has become even quieter. A few guests have already gone home. Only the soft crackling of burning wood fills the room now. The owner places another small candle on the windowsill. Its gentle light reflects against the glass. For a moment, it almost looks like another little star shining outside. The woman finishes the last bite of her apple pie. She thanks the owner with a warm smile. Then she folds the blanket carefully, places it exactly where she found it, puts on her scarf, her gloves, and her coat. Before leaving, she pauses beside the fireplace. She stretches her hands toward its warmth one last time, almost as though saying goodbye to an old friend. Then she opens the door. The little bell rings softly. Cold air slips inside for only a second before the door closes once more. Through the window, you watch her disappear slowly into the peaceful snowfall. Within moments, the falling snow gently hides her footsteps. The owner dims one of the lamps. The fire continues to burn quietly. Your drink is nearly finished. The cafe feels even warmer now than when you first arrived. You sink a little deeper into your chair, listening, watching, breathing, and as the snow continues to fall outside, you realize that some places ask nothing from us except to slow down, and perhaps that is the greatest comfort of all. The evening has grown wonderfully quiet. The cafe is almost empty now. Outside, the snowfall continues just as gently as when you first arrived. The village has disappeared beneath a soft blanket of white. Only a handful of warm lights still shine through distant windows. Inside, the fire burns lower now. Its gentle crackling fills the room with a comforting rhythm. The owner walks slowly around the cafe. She straightens a chair, blows out a candle near the door, places another small log onto the fire. Tiny sparks rise for a moment before quietly fading away. The room grows warm once again. You finish the last sip of your drink. The mug is still pleasantly warm between your hands. For a little while you simply sit there, listening, watching the snow drift beyond the window, feeling completely comfortable. There is no reason to hurry, no clock asking anything of you, no plans waiting for tomorrow, only this quiet evening. The warmth of the fire, the gentle scent of coffee and cinnamon, the soft glow of golden light reflecting across the wooden floor. You notice how peaceful everything feels, as though this little mountain cafe exists outside of time, and a place where winter moves slowly, where conversations are gentle, where every chair feels familiar, and every snowfall feels like an old friend returning. The owner notices you looking around. She smiles kindly. "I hope you'll visit again." You smile back. "I think I will." She walks you to the door. As you step outside, the cold mountain air feels fresh against your face. Snowflakes drift slowly around you. The village is silent. The only sound is the soft crunch of fresh snow beneath your boots. You pause for one last look. The cafe glows warmly behind you. Its windows shine like little lanterns in the winter night. The chimney sends a thin ribbon of smoke into the quiet sky. For a moment it feels less like a building and more like a memory you will carry with you. You begin walking slowly down the snowy path. The light from the cafe grows smaller with every step, until it becomes just another warm glow among the sleeping mountains. The snow continues to fall, softly, patiently, endlessly, and perhaps somewhere beyond the trees, the fire is still burning. Another pot of coffee is gently warming. Another chair waits beside the hearth, ready for whoever needs a quiet place to rest. Tonight, that place was yours, and now it's time to let your own thoughts become as quiet as the falling snow. Sleep well, and I'll meet you here again on another peaceful evening in another quiet chapter.